Oh my God, it's that time again. It's 12:30. Therefore, we're starting. Welcome, everybody. Good to see all these nice faces. Let's move right along. Welcome in Zooming, Steve Day. Say hi.
Hello,
And,
everyone.
and Steve is taking care of his beautiful dog, Cooper, who had 9 teeth removed yesterday. So, but he's doing well. Fantastic. I see Chris. Is that you, Chris?
That's
Yeah.
me. Good afternoon, Mr. President.
Good to see you. How's Kansas City?
Kansas City is still here.
Is it cold?
Yeah, it's a little chilly today.
All right. Well, enjoy. And is there anybody else besides Steve and Chris on this Zoom? I don't think so. Okay, so let's move on. This is the year of magic of Rotary. And how do we make magic? Abracadabra, hocus pocus. This room now is going to be 50 people, which means we're going to increase our membership double. That's how the magic of Rotary works. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but that's the goal. I want to thank Janet, who is like the best greeter. I think it's because that's good. It's almost, it's like, I think you're a permanent greeter. Is that correct? Okay. Jim, is there anybody else who wants to greet, or you just want her to greet? She does a great job. She's here usually before everybody. Okay, let's go on. Pledge of Allegiance was going to be by Steve Day. And Steve, I don't know if you want to lead the pledge from where you are.
I'd be happy to. Okay, everyone, please stand up. I'm gonna sit down. I'll stand up, but I'll be not really. But anyway, put your hands over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, past President Steve Day. Now you may mute. Perfect. The thought of the day will be from one of our past presidents, Michael Newman. I'm afraid to hear what you're going to say. I have no idea.
Well, I'm sure that you all know that today is Frank Sinatra's birthday.
Are you going to start singing?
And as a child, I was an altar boy at St. Paul's, and the Kennedy clan used to come in, so I used to see Sinatra. And I guess as a kid, we always heard he was a drinker and a womanizer. So I thought I'd share a couple of his thoughts for the day. Alcohol may be man's worst enemy, but the Bible says, love your enemy. I feel sorry for the people that don't drink, because when they wake up in the morning, that is going to be the best part of their day. And I thought going into the season spirit where we all practice our own service above self and love and things, we really bring out the love that we all have for everyone. I thought I would close with something that just came to me in the mail. You and I may never get the chance to meet, but regardless, we stand together. I offer you peace, courage, and hope during this holiday season and in the new year, with encouragement and love to you all.
Wow, somehow this slide took an advance. So do we have any visiting Rotarians? We have guests of Rotarians. Okay, by the way, John, do you want to introduce your guests? Obviously, I see a beautiful woman that you're married to. Well, so it's your time to introduce her. Who's your guest, John? Really? Well, I'm just curious about it.
And I have Chuck, Dr. Chuck McCreary, who is here present. These are my guests.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Now, I think without further ado, we're going to bring up Ed Galt. And Ed, please, song of the day.
Yeah.
Now, everybody just stand up because this is going to be God Bless America. Everybody on your feet. Everybody on your feet. That's everybody. Are you standing up, Gordon? Just kidding.
You shouldn't say something.
Look, I can say it. I can, when I can throw bricks in the wind. Are you ready?
Yes, everybody is standing, and I thought we'd sing a patriotic song, and I'll put on a hat that was worn by the natives when the Pilgrims came over.
I have no idea what that is. Oh. Okay, Mosabe.
Okay. Okay, let's give it a shot. God bless America. Beside from the mountains to the prayer to the ocean. Boy, oh, America, my home sweet home. My home sweet home. Thank you, thank you.
Now all of you standing.
We are. By the way, these slides are moving by stuff. So I want to thank Mark Rogo is not here. Who's doing the windmill today? Mark was supposed to, so he's not here today. So you will? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate it. We already went there. Okay. Let's talk about next week, and I want to bring up Tom Barron. It's a perfect segue for you, Tom. Mr. Tom Barron, come on up. We're talking about next week. You need the mic? You want us to be over here?
Okay, next week is the annual holiday party for Rotary. Now, what's going to happen is this. You have to bring a gift. And there's two raffles. There's a raffle, which is we're going to have $5 a ticket or 5 tickets for $20. $4.
25.
No. Anyway, that's going to be a raffle. That's, you've got to donate, and of course, the money goes to the foundation. Bring a present if you wish to have a raffle off. If not, it's going to be a white elephant gift, be separate tables. And only those participants for the white elephant, if you bring a gift, for white elephant, you get a chance. And what we're going to do is, in order, pick a gift and exchange it if you wish. One person, one chance, right, Diane?
No,
If you're called up, you have a choice. You have a choice to pick a white elephant gift from previous one or a new one. Simple as that.
it's not that simple.
It's going to be simple. Even
Hold on. Yeah. Is there a maximum? So one question. Is there a limit dollar-wise to that white elephant?
no dollar.
Okay, it could be a $500 gift. I'm looking right at you.
Well, if it's a $500 gift, it'll be raffled off, not in white elephant.
Gordon, I can have fun with it, can't I?
Oh, yes, when you're looking
I was looking right at you.
I didn't get the rest.
Okay, that's okay. Now it's at $500. Yeah, I think you would. It's the holiday.
It's a holiday party. You're dressed appropriately in any type of holiday outfit, Christmas or uniform you wish.
Or you could wear blue for Hanukkah, whatever you want.
Now, the rules are so simple, though, on this raffle thing, that even a graduate of USC can understand.
Oh, he's leaving.
That's it.
All right, thank you, Tom. Yes, Diane. Yes. Okay, so next week, bring an unwrapped toy. And the box that's in the front will be there. And if it's so many, I would like a couple of volunteers not to leave the meeting. Now, next week, by the way, is not just for us. If your wife or spouse or significant other wants to be here, please let Tia know. We need all RSVPs immediately, for sure by Monday, so they can prepare food. They are not here on Thursday, only for us. So just so you know. And we're going to have a spectacular feast. Okay? So with that, and by the way, Steve Shear, I would love to see you. I would love to see, would you come here next week? Which is our holiday party? You're shaking your head. Chris Bradford, are you going to be in town?
Chris and I are going to try to come.
Okay, fantastic.
I
Good.
will not be in town on Thursday next week, unfortunately.
Oh, well, Steve, you'll represent the firm, okay?
Well, I will bring Chris's proxy with me.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
There you
Steve.
go.
You're welcome.
And Christine, welcome, Christine. We would love to see you next week as well. You feeling okay? Good. Smile. I like your smile. Good. All right, we're moving right along. So tonight, by the way, hold on. Tonight is our special event. Diane, do you want to talk about it? What we're doing? It's David, come up here. David, come on up. We'll go back. What's going on, David?
Tonight is the Transitional Village Children's Shopping Spree. So 5 o'clock, and we're still taking additional volunteers if you're free tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to meet at the Transitional Village 5 o'clock. Get on buses at 5:30. Go over to Ross, Dress for Less.
No, we're going to Hamburger Habit.
But we're parking at Ross.
Oh, we are.
And then walking across
Oh,
the
we're
street.
going to talk with those kids? Oh, my God, Skip.
We're going to cross the street to Hamburger Habit, have some burgers and fries, and then go back and shop. And then we'll go back around 8:30 to the village.
Okay.
So please join us if you can.
So can I see the hands of those of you who didn't let David know that would like to do this? Is there any new volunteers? La, 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 la.
How about just everybody who's going?
Everybody's going, raise your hands. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. We're good. And Steve Day, whose hand is not up, is going to be there as well. Okay? No, not Marcia, because they have to take care of Cooper. Okay. And Jackson, it's good to see you. Welcome. So here's an announcement. As you know, we're trying to develop a relationship with Surf Rider Foundation. Here's a couple of events that are this weekend that I'm going to recommend that we do. So if you can go to the Saturday event from 9:30 to 11:30 in Manhattan Beach, fantastic. If not, Palisades, Sunset Point, which is where Gladstone's is, from 1:30 to 3:30. Okay? Is there anybody that would like to join me on Sunday? Anybody? Going once? Okay, maybe. Okay. Anybody else? Christine's raising her hand. Fantastic, too. By the way, Salmon Valley, if you'd like to go do a cleanup at the beach, it would be great. And if you have any young people you want to bring them. Oh, the Rotarettes. Let's get in touch with the Rotarettes. They're out of school. Okay, got it. Interact.
Sunset Point is same thing.
Yeah, same thing. So, guess what, John? You're up. Goody. Mike will be up in a minute. Make sure both of you don't trip on his horse. Okay? Michael, we want you to know that we're not on a certificate, but there's a quarter of it.
Thank you, Tim. Well, I'm delighted to be introducing a very dear friend of mine today, Michael Quick. He's a friend for many years. He started out as an art friend, now he's a person friend. Michael went to Swarthmore College or University? College. That's in Pennsylvania. And then he went to Yale and got his master's in art. After that, he became the curator of the Dayton, Ohio Museum of Art. And then he hit the big time. He was the curator of American art at LA County Museum up until the year about 1993. And then he retired to work in something which is something that I know he dreamed about for years. He wrote what is called a catalog raisonné of a famous Hudson River painter, George Inness. Raisonné is a write-up about all of the work that George Inness did in his life in the latter part of the 19th century. It was published in 2007. We have a copy at home, which when I want to do exercise, besides reading it, I lift it up and down because it weighs up. But we do read it, Patty, and I do read it. And then after that, he became an art consultant. And that's where it really got involved with Michael. Patty, my wife, had been a docent at LA County Museum, and I was on a group over there called the American Art Council, and that's how we really got to know Michael better. And full disclosure, we hired Michael as our art consultant, and he put together for us what I think is a wonderful collection of American art. So anyway, Michael's here to talk to us about subject the art that speaks to you. But for me, it means the joy of appreciating art. Michael.
Thanks very much, John. John was the chairman of our American Art Council at the museum. Okay. Okay. Right. Yeah. Lower the level of light and then the
You have a clicker, Mike?
clicker right here. Yeah.
All right, good.
I'm going to talk to you today about exactly how good paintings are vastly better and more interesting than the millions of images that we see every day in the news, advertisements, and elsewhere. Good paintings, on the other hand, require we look at the thing quickly, either like it and look further, or we just brush it away and skip over it. But with paintings, they require us to spend a bit of time looking for what is different and special about a painting. I hope you will see that it is essential to respect art and meet art on its own terms. And I'll show you some of the ways. We're looking at paintings by the famous Gilbert Stuart, the greatest portraitist of the early years of our country. A portraitist is, in that period, and in most periods, was expected to record the, oh, thanks very much. Thanks very much. To record the appearance of the person, what the face is like, but also to reveal the personality or the character of the person. If we look at Mrs. Yates on the left, what clues has the artist given us as to what her personality is like? What do you notice first?
She's stiff.
Well, you might notice the tautness of the thread that she's with which she's sewing, and then notice how shiny her silk garments are that cover everything but her face. And from that, she almost like armor. The artist had total control in most cases over what the people wore, or they could choose among the person's wardrobe how they'd like to present them. So we see a cautious, maybe anxious person, very alert to dangers. That's the kind of, we look for evidence in the picture for what the person's like. If we look at the portrait on the other side, on the right-hand side, Mrs. Lee, he placed her in nature with her hair free, with her her chest partly exposed, and she has a locket of some loved person, a miniature of some loved person. She's relaxed, smiling, an entirely different person, isn't it? Closed in on one hand, open and free on the other. And that's why it's worth looking at portraits, because if you really pay attention to them, there are indications there of what the person was like. And this is night and day, of course. Here's President Adams, and that is a formal portrait of the president. You won't find any clues in that. It's meant to be abstract, sort of idealized, and at most represent his face. But his wife on the other side is also fully clothed, but with a light shawl over and some ringlets under her cap. She looks at us as a proper person, but with intelligence and determination. And we know from her letters to John Adams that she was always urging him to do this and that. She had ideas. She had an understanding of the issues, and she wanted him to understand how she felt about it. And remember the ladies is one of her recommendations. So again, you have in her another way to present people. So when you're in a museum, look at the portraits. You'll find something beneath the surface there. And I'd say one other thing about portraits. They're often very skillfully painted. Gilbert Stuart painted very well. But this is a painting from 1907, where a premium was placed on brushwork. The speed and dexterity, skill of the artist to very quickly paint the costume and then capture a momentary expression of the child. So that's another thing to look for in portraits, how it's painted. If the brushwork is conspicuous, then pay attention to it, admire it. But now turning away from portraits, let's look at landscapes. Here are two. One, Granville Redmond, a noted California painter, painting California poppy field around 1926. It's a big painting, 40 by 60. It's wide open. We see everything in the landscape until it's lost in haze. It's a handsome painting. We're drawn to it, so on. And we might notice, for instance, how he's painted a deep blue over the background, which harmonizes with the yellow or orange color of the poppies. And then we have a picture on the other side, which if you went to a museum, you just walk by because you don't see anything in it. But let's look at it a little closer. This is a landscape at dawn. In other words, when there's a little color in the sky, and then light is beginning to brighten in the sky. So it's that moment in the country where light comes into the landscape. And it's a little hard to read at first. We see the somewhat rosy field on that rising slope in the distance, and the house and barn on the peak. And then beneath that, a shepherd leading a flock out to pasture in the morning. And then we notice next the things that reflect the limited light, the rocks, for instance. And then we see that the water of a stream, a brook, also reflects the sky. These are the banks of that stream. And their color is still somewhat gray, and it will gradually turn to green as light grows in the landscape. If you spend time looking at pictures, instead of expecting pictures to hit you, you'll find it's really quite beautiful and a very tender moment at the beginning of the day. It has some kind of beauty too. But again, it's a matter of looking at pictures. As we turn to landscapes, I'd like to talk about a group of paintings by George Inness, who's the artist I know so well, having studied and all of it, looked at every single painting known by him. The thing is, he painted for 50 years, and they're never the same. That's the thing about landscape. They're complete. The artist has complete freedom to arrange things on the canvas, and they do, and you have tremendous variety in the landscapes. In the late 70s, I'll show you 3 groups of paintings with different objectives. This is one of the things you want to look at with a good painting, not a ordinary knocked out one, but a good painting like this, like the Innes's. The one on the left is called Gray Lowry Day. It's an overcast day with some thread of rain. Beautiful. It's a jewel of a painting. And the greens in the landscape have that intense quality that you get under an overcast. And then the other one, after the storm's clearing off to the left. And you see a rainbow on the right. Now some light falls on the foreground where there are cattle and a large bush. And it picks out some of the houses in the distance. That's a different feeling from Gray Lowry Day. It's a relief after the storm, the clearing of the sky, the rainbow shining. What it was after in this period was the feelings that he saw in nature, and tried to concentrate in a painting the moods of different types of weather that you can experience in the landscape if you look at it. And this is a wonderful painting, fairly big, called The Coming Storm. It's the same idea of what weather feels like in landscape. Weather changes the appearance of landscape. There are mountains there, but they're obscured by the clouds, the swirling clouds. And this is apparently the period before the storm, when there might be a lot of wind that would toss the foliage of the trees. Still, there's sunlight coming down on the pasture and on the foreground. The thing about this painting is, I wish you could see it. It's a stunner because the brushwork is so strong. The large brush strokes that go around the clouds, for instance, it's full of the energy of the storm and of the making of the painting, the brushwork. Different things to look for. Now, he wasn't always concerned with the moods of weather. here's something different, utterly different. These are random landscapes that he painted in nature, directly in front of the landscape, and painting a winter scene with the snow still on the ground is nearly impossible because oil paints, which they used then, grow stiff when it's cold. You have to, Innisworth had to thin the paint tremendously with more oil to get it to move at all. And yet, despite these difficulties, he was able to get a persuasive feeling of that spot under those lighting conditions. The idea of this phase of his art is, what did he see? And he paints what he saw. The summer foliage painting on the right is warm. The paint flows easily. The landscape is lush around that old stone wall where it's grown over. It's the strength of nature and growth, and but this again was painted. It's a random scene where he painted it in front of nature, but I suspect that he added that white tree trunk to give some structure to the landscape. I don't know that he did, but I suspect he did. And here's one more of these paintings in nature, looking at exactly what he saw. The painting on this is a handsome painting by any measure. The light on the wall of the mill and the water wheel and the horse and so on. It's just so enjoyable. But I draw your attention to the trees in the upper center and left. They are just a blur, aren't they? Until you realize that the only parts of the foliage that have color, strong color, and shape, mass, shape, form, are where light hits. For instance, in the lower center, the light hits a group of bushes along the side of the stream. But the trees themselves are painted exactly the way Innes saw them. He knew how trees grow and what they look like, but he didn't paint that. He didn't paint what he knew. He painted what he saw. And what he saw was a few lighted areas and a lot of blurriness behind it. That's what you and I would see in the landscape if we were standing there, because that was what was actually in front of him. He painted what he saw rather than what he knew. It's a fascinating period in his work. But then, in the late 80s, his art changed. Here's a wonderful sunrise painting, but a sunrise of an entirely different character than the painting by Dwight Tryon that we looked at together. in this period of his art, the point wasn't to represent what he saw, but rather to use composition and color to achieve a beautiful or powerful statement. Just the way a contemporary artist would. He put in a horizontal, he put in a vertical, and then he just freely used color in a believable way, although that's some sunrise. At least I've ever seen. Now, it's grounded by realism because he painted the tree on the right with great care. The trailing branches, for instance, and then the single tree to the left of center, he painted accurately on the brush in the foreground. But basically, it's an exercise in abstract composition anchored by some realism. And then look at this beautiful painting. This is the harvest moon. The moon is rising just as the sun behind us has set. So the moon reflects the pink or red light of the setting sun. So then you have a combination of colors. See the structure in the painting again, and the area of blue-green, and then this very soft, somewhat orange area lighted by the moon. But one can feel the moisture rising from the ground as the earth cools. This is a gorgeous painting. And then one more in this. This is one of his most abstract paintings. If you look at the tree, between the tree at the left, tree trunk at the left, and the sun, you can see a vertical line where the tree was originally thicker, and he painted it out, so it's a thinner tree. And if you look at the figure of the lady, you can make out the outlines of another big tree that Innes painted out. And that's basically what he did. He just spin this painting down as much as possible to give a very abstract sense of light and color. It's a huge painting, beautiful painting. So what I'm saying is, even if you don't know a lot about art, you can look at it with respect. And I'm talking about museum paintings. Look at them with respect and interest, and spend some time looking at what's going on. What's the artist trying to do? And you'll be rewarded because that painting will then come alive for you. So that's general advice about looking at paintings. And what I would like to invite you to go to museums and look at paintings. Our city is full of art museums. For American art, right now, the only place to see it is in the at the Huntington Art Museum, Library Art Museum in Santa Marina. I've taken 4 images from their website. The one in the upper left is a scene from the Shakespeare play King Lear. King Lear and Cordelia are interacting as he sails. And below that is a John Singer Sargent quick portrait sketch of a fellow artist. So because it's fast sketch, we don't have too many clear clues about him. But I think the open mouth maybe says something. The relaxed clothing. He's an artist, you know. And then on the upper right is a wonderful, very sap-like painting called Breakfast in Bed. A mother and child in bed. Daughter having joined her mother. Is her mother. And below that is an Edward Hopper painting, 1935, of a tacking sailboat. It's called the Long Leg of a tack. Those are just four random images of really good paintings they have. But in other areas, the Getty and the Martin Simon Museum in Pasadena have old master paintings. There's a lot of contemporary art downtown at the Loca Museum of Contemporary Art and at the Road Museum. So look at paintings, look at them, spend time, look at them. And the more you give to a painting, the more you'll get. The more time and attention you give, the more you'll get. I promise you that these are wonderful pictures that have more to tell you, that can speak to you, and you'll be in a position to listen. Thank you.
Stay right. By the way, anybody got any questions? Chris?
When over the last weekend, I was in San Francisco, and at the Legion of Honor, they have American Sappho. It's about 40 pages in, and I'm familiar with her, but after going through it a couple different times and listening to some of the Josephs, it became very apparent that he sacrificed her whole life to become an artist, and at the same time portrayed women and children, more so than all the other lands, the Impressionists at that time. So I agree with you when it comes to give yourself an opportunity to explore an artist, and perhaps you'll learn a bit more about it.
Sure.
Anybody else? Tom Barron.
Most of the art you showed up there was the late 19th century. Yeah, I was wondering, is that art or like French Impressions was a period of time? Is that a period of art that you describe?
There were American Impressionists. In fact, some who studied with Monet in Giverny, and when the fathers of that movement, and they painted mostly from the 80s to the 1910 period, something like that. And then in the early 20th century, there was a lag between European movements like Cubism, say, before that turned up in America. But in almost every one of the major French movements, there's a American counterpart. So there are American impressions. I didn't happen to show any today, but there are.
Anybody else have any questions? Yes.
I just have a question about laptop. When are they finishing the remodeling?
It's I think it's to open next year in 25, but it's a sad story. They've torn down the galleries in which I used to install the paintings that from our rich collection, American paintings. There's no provision to show the permanent collection anymore. They'll all be in storage, and every so once in a blue moon, one of them will be in one of their little exhibitions, but that's it. It's a loss. It's a bad design, and the other thing is the museum is built in such a way that you can't stick an addition on and show the permanent collection.
Well, is there something positive we can end on? I mean, that's you delivered the presentation and it went down a little bit. So let's bring it up.
The Getty's a great museum, and it's nearby, so of course you never go to it. It's like who goes to the Statue of Liberty? The visitors to New York, never a native. But they have wonderful paintings there, and the Norton Simon Museum also in Pasadena for old master paintings.
We have time for a couple more questions. Ed?
Are the residents still involved with Blackwood?
I don't know. I left in '93, and they were at that time, but I don't know what the situation is now.
This was some of your favorite American art.
Georgian.
Yeah. Besides you. So many great ones. I like George Bellows a lot. If you know George Bellows, that's right. He did boxing scenes. Yeah. I tend to like the painters, the people, and they tend to be manic depressive. They have these enthusiastic periods when anything is possible, and then they paint brilliantly in new ways, like Jackson Pollock, for instance, and they pay the cost for that, which is periods of inactivity because they're in the depressive phase. But those artists rose above their contemporaries during their manic period, and they just dazzle us with their painting and their vision as well. And that's some of so that's the kind of American artist I am.
John O'Keefe, you're
The American artist you recommended to us is Johnson. It will go to the usually.
So how do people contact you? Are you still doing consulting? Are you putting like collections for people?
Sure.
So anybody who would like to use the services, contact you. Recommend you. And before you leave, I want to thank you very much. And I have a special speaker's gift for you. Please
Thank
accept
you.
this. It's a pen for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
And it was a pleasure to hear everybody. Is have an outing to a museum. We should, shouldn't we? Oh my God, I think you've inspired me. All right. Let's just have to figure it out.
We gotta go.
Which one?
I mean,
So we'll go to number.
so much.
Oh yeah, hold on. Bill Roman would like to make an announcement. Yes.
Our basketball team is #1 in the nation. Girls. You told us they were gonna be. Yeah. And their schedule, I still have a copy of the schedule, but you can go online to get their home schedule. And those of you who got tickets or the passes that she handed out, I want to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Great team.
Yeah.
Great coach.
So if there, is there any other comments or anything on your mind? Because we're at that moment where I'm going to ring this bell. And the meeting is open. Good to see you, Steve Schiff. Miss you.